Hello, everyone. Good evening from London. I have a special guest with us today. It is Special Spirits series. We are meeting here to talk about and raise awareness about the invisible, visible disabilities and challenges in order to build bridges and use that awareness to build better, more inclusive society, hopefully a bit better world. And we've got amazing guest who's doing just that, changing people's lives one at a time with an amazing story. Nelson Tressler, who's the author of The Unlucky Sperm Count Club. I'm so sorry. So I will leave Nelson to introduce himself because, as you can tell, I'm getting it wrong already. So, so thank you so much for joining us, Nelson, and please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Monica. Yeah, my name is Nelson Tressler. I am the author of The Unlucky Sperm Club. You are not a victim of your circumstances, but a product of your choices. I'm also the founder and CEO of I Got Smarter, Goals Elevated, which is a goal achievement program that finally gives people all the tools, knowledge, and support they need to finally live their life's biggest, goals and dreams.
Amazing. And you've achieved all this starting from probably most disadvantaged place you could have imagined. And your story, I mean, you wrote a book, your story is stranger than fiction and good for a movie script, no doubt. So let's talk about the beginnings.
Yeah, I've got quite the origin story. My mom became pregnant with me when she was 15 years old. And while she was pregnant with me, her father, who was the local trash collector in a small town, drove into the town square. There he spotted two police officers. He stuck a gun out the window and opened fire on those police officers, killing one and wounding another. And eventually my grandfather was captured and brought to stand trial, where he was facing the death penalty for what he had done. During the trial, my mom got up and testified to the jury that the reason that her father had shot and killed that police officer was that that police officer had raped her, and she was now pregnant with his baby, who was me. And my mom's testimony worked. My first trial ended in a hung jury. The second trial, the state took the death penalty off the table because of my mom's testimony. He was eventually found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, where he ended up spending the rest of his life, more than 40 years behind bars, leaving behind my mom. She was one of 15 children, and now me in this small town to deal with the consequences of what he had done. Life, believe it or not, life didn't get any easier for me. I'm born to my mom, 15 years old. And eventually she meets a man who becomes my stepfather, and come to find out that he is an alcoholic, and he's very emotionally and physically abusive to me and my mom almost on a daily basis. And they eventually have 4 more children in quick succession. And because of the lifestyle that they're living, a lot of the basic needs of my siblings fall upon me. Because of all of this, I'm struggling in every aspect of my life, including school. And I remember in the 4th grade, I look down at my report card and I see that I have straight Fs and that I'll be repeating the 4th grade. I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I can't spell. And eventually I got placed into special ed to try to get the help that I needed. Come to find out that I had dyslexia. And that took my life up to 4th grade.
Eventful beginning and traumatic as well.
Yeah.
And also with special needs in terms of your learning capacity. What do you do next?
Well, one day my stepfather was walking home drunk from a bar, and there was somebody else driving home drunk from that bar, and they end up hitting and killing him. And it's at this time that my mom, she's dropped out of school in the 8th grade. She's never worked outside the home. And here she is. She has 5 small children. And losing my stepfather, no matter how awful he was to his family, left my mom with no hope. And that's something that none of us ever want to be without. And because of that, my mom attempted suicide. And fortunately, she was not successful. But whenever she got out of the hospital, it was at that time that she determined that she wasn't going to be able to care for all of us. And that's when my family got split up. And that's when I went to go live with my grandmother, who's the wife of the man who shot and killed the police officer. And that's when my life kind of took a turn, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't super concerned with survival anymore. You know, there was always food in my Gram's house. I never had to worry about my stepfather coming home and beating me or my mom. I didn't have to worry about caring for my siblings. And I didn't have to, my Gram's one rule was you were going to go to school no matter what. So I started to go to school and kind of build up momentum there. And that's when my life changed. And I started to reflect upon my future. And one day, a school counselor came from the local university and started to talk about what it would take to get into college. And for the first time in my life, I started to think, you know what if I could go to college? What if I could get a college degree? And I thought to myself, that would solve all of my problems. If I could get a college degree, the rest of my life would be easy. And you know what happens whenever you tell yourself you want to do something that's going to be difficult or hard? That voice in the back of your head just starts screaming at you all of the reasons you shouldn't even attempt it. And I remember that voice telling me, Nelson, you're in special ed. You can't read, you can't write, you can't spell. Of the family that I came from, of my mom's 15 brothers and sisters, only 2 had ever graduated high school. None had ever even attended a university. But I had nothing to lose. I saw what direction my life was going, and I didn't like it. And I figured that if I could get that college degree, my life was going to be considerably different. So 12 years after setting that goal, 4 different universities, 4 years in the Air Force, I finally became that first person in my family to get that college degree.
Absolutely amazing. And it took probably lots of sweat and tears on the way.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, I definitely breezed through that. And that's one of the things that I do in my book, The Unlucky Sperm Club. I pull back the curtain, because I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, is when they see somebody who has some sort of success in their life, they either think that it was overnight or that it was easy and that there were never any heartaches or setbacks. And in my book, The Unlucky Sperm Club, I talk about so many of the trials and struggles, not only in my childhood, but also in my adult life, and, in my marriage, and raising my kids and building my businesses. And when you see what happens, you realize that there are so many people out there that are 1 or 2 or 3 choices away from completely failing, or they're 1 or 2 or 3 choices from, being successful. And that's what I wanted to portray with the book, The Unlucky Sperm Club, to realize that, our choices do matter. And, I'm 100% believe that, we are exactly where we choose to be. We choose to be exactly where we're at. And if we don't like where we're at, we can start to make different choices and end up to where we do want to go. But we're in control of that.
Beautiful. I mentioned where we were chatting briefly before we started going live, that it's just, you illustrate beautifully that universal law of cause and effect, where no matter what is, so-called destiny you might see for yourself because of your humble background or the traumatic event which has taken place, you can still influence your life. You can take charge and you can change it. As long as a person suffering from the circumstances or events, or even own illness, disability, whatever it is, any challenge, you can change that by changing mentality, that victim mentality, taking responsibility, and deciding to go for it simply. And you've done it. You've done it. And this is such an inspiration. And I love the story. I love everything about it. And also you come here with that sense of humor as well. I mean, it's definitely a catchy title for the book.
Yeah. And you know, the one thing I think that made a huge difference in my life was I got to see some of my potential. And I think that's the one thing. You show somebody the potential that lies within them, and there's great magical potential that lies in each one of us. And once you show somebody that and you show them kind of the path that they can achieve that, they'll never be the same. They'll never want to settle for anything less than what their potential is. And that's what our program, I Got Smarter, does, is it helps people finally achieve those goals and realize that potential, because the most important thing is becoming that version of yourself that lies within you that can achieve your life's biggest goals. We're always working on that individual. And that's what the I in I Got Smarter stands for, is the individual that's staring back at you in the mirror. And everything in your life starts and ends with that individual, you, and the type of person that you're going to become, and the type of choices that you make, and that potential that you're striving to achieve.
That's beautiful. And if you put it in practical terms or in spiritual development terms, it all boils to one core belief, which is it's all within you. You just need to pull it out and let yourself shine. So amazing work you are doing. But if you don't mind, tell us about the biggest takeouts from your own struggle to your own challenges, and what you are presumably teaching people now with the program you run. What are the, let's say, 3 biggest sort of takeout tips which you can share with us here?
Yeah, I mean, I think mindset is a huge thing. I think there's so many people out there that kind of have a mindset that doesn't allow for them to reach their potential. They have a lot of self-limiting beliefs. And I think the first thing is, and this kind of comes off as a little bit arrogant and maybe not even popular, but you have to be your own biggest hero. And that was one of the things that I learned growing up without a lot of heroes in my life and a lot of mentors that I could look up to, is I had to become my own biggest hero. And I want to be my biggest hero. And have I reached that yet? Absolutely not. I mean, you're more aware than your flaws than anybody else is, but you also have to realize that no one is perfect and everybody's going to struggle. But I want to become that best version of myself. And one of the strategies that we use in I Got Smarter is we develop an alter ego, that perfect version of ourselves, that person that always makes the right decisions. I mean, we name them. So my alter ego's name is Fred. And whenever I'm kind of stuck with making a decision, I always ask Fred's advice, and Fred always chooses to do the right thing, no matter what it is. Maybe I don't want to wake up and work out because it's cold and I want to go play in the snow. I ask Fred, and Fred always says, okay, we got to get that workout in. And, when you have that alter ego, when you have that perfect version of yourself and you start making those type of choices, a magical thing happens. You turn in or become closer to becoming that perfect version of yourself. And the closer you get to that perfect version continues to evolve as well. And you're actually become that better version of yourself, that was 5 years ago was your perfect version, and you continue to grow, continue to progress. And that's what I've done in my life. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you, living a life that I couldn't have even imagined growing up. And that all started by me striving to become that better version of myself.
Amazing. It's so inspirational, and I'm really, really grateful that you came here to share this message, because it's not only for the kids, it's us grown-ups need to hear that as well. And I think, I don't know, would you agree with me? Probably yes, but I think it doesn't matter what age we are. We can be 75 and still set yourself up to be the best version of ourselves. It's just never too late, is it?
No, it's never too late. And I mean, one of my favorite quotes is success is never owned. It's only rented. And you've got to continue to strive. And we owe it to ourselves to continually work our entire lives to become that better version of ourselves. And you know what? It might change what you're working on from the time you're 40 to the time you're 70, but you're still striving to become that better version of yourself, whatever stage of life you're in.
Amazing. And saying that, so mentioning the age, what kind of age group do you mainly work with your program?
Everybody, just what I said. I mean, I think my sons are 15 years old and they have goals that they want to achieve in school and sports and, you know, those type of goals. And then you have people in just starting their careers that are looking to achieve goals. Goals should be something. I mean, goals are the most powerful thing, you know, we can learn how to accomplish, because everything in our life that we accomplish starts with a goal. And whenever you figure out, you know, how to achieve those goals, how to stay focused and how to actually see those goals through to the end, no matter what you're striving to do, it's a goal. And I've used goals from the time I became that first person to graduate from college. I realized, holy cow, here I am, you know, coming from where I came from. And I actually, even though I barely knew what a goal was, I was able to use that. It took me 12 years. There was a lot of ups and downs in it, but I was able to achieve that goal. And I saw what a difference it made in my life. And that's when I became obsessed with goals and personal development. And for the last 25 years, I've used those to design a life that I couldn't have even imagined. I mean, I came from a broken home. I just celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary, and you know, we're raising. Yeah, thank you. And we're raising 3 awesome young men, and that's the great thing about goals. Fantastic. Goals aren't just for the person who accomplishes them. Goals are generational. Because I was willing to, you know, achieve a goal, not only is my life changed, but my family's life has changed. And because of that, their family's life is going to be changed from where I came from. So it's generational. And in fact, our motto at I Got Smarter is that we want to change the world one person and one inspiring goal at a time. And we do that by changing their world, their small world that they live in, because that's how the world changes.
Oh, absolutely. I believe in that totally. It's the way we change the world is also by becoming the better version of ourselves, which contributes to that better world, which we can influence in that way. That is good. And I've just had a question which escaped me a little here. Let's just see. We just have the lovely Andrea watching with us and loving the name of the program, which we do. Absolutely, they are all great. Obviously, you've got some creative flow within your multitude of skills with the titles of the names for your book, title for the book, for the name for the program. I wanted to go back now to the goals. That was the question which I was thinking of while you were talking about goal setting. So important with goal setting is there are probably set techniques which you are using to make sure that that goal is achieved. Because it's one thing to set up a goal, and the other thing is to actually achieve that goal. And we all know, we all tried, we all had New Year's resolutions, and then something happened. February came and we've forgotten about it. So what would be your one advice for the achieving the goals which we are setting up for ourselves?
Well, that's why I Got Smarter. You know, that's why I started I Got Smarter, because of that. As we said here, you know, in February, 92% of New Year's resolutions have already failed. And think of how different not only the people's lives who set those New Year's resolutions would be, but how different the world would be if people were actually able to achieve those goals and stick with them. And that's the thing, is sticking with your goals. And that's what I've baked into the I Got Smarter strategy. That's why I built it into an app so it would be easy to use. But there's all kinds of reminders there. And just like you said, a lot of times you forget about your goals and you go for a weekend and you come back and you forget that, you want to weigh a certain amount of weight, or you want to accomplish this, or you want to reach out to family, whatever that is. But in the I Got Smarter program, I think the one thing that helps people is we allow each member who downloads the app to be able to invite what we call a success partner. And a lot of people call them accountability partners. I don't like accountability partners because it has that negative connotation, like you're accountable to me. We're not accountable to anybody else when it comes to our goals except ourselves. And so this partner is there trying to achieve their goals as well, but they're there to help you, to encourage you, to motivate you, and you're there to help them. And through the app, every morning we do a morning ritual, and we check off, our goals through the milestones. And then we have an evening ritual. In real time, your success partner sees if, okay, did Monika do her morning ritual? And they get an alert at 11 o'clock. Oh, Monika didn't do it. I can give you some encouragement and say, come on, Monika, let's get that morning ritual done and really, plan our days so that we make this day as productive as possible. Or maybe you've done it at 8 o'clock and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, Monika's done her. Kudos to you. Now I got to get mine done because she's got hers done. So it's that encouragement. It's that success partner that's there to keep you on track. Because one of our philosophies that I Got Smarter is, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress. And I think that's where a lot of people fall short as well, is they have a bad day or a bad week. And then all of a sudden they throw their hands up and they're like, screw it, I'll wait till next New Year's. And now they've wasted 9-10 months, depending on when they've given up. Time is our greatest resource. I mean, we should never waste a minute of it. And so what this program does is it gets you back on track. We realize you're going to struggle. You're going to fail. You're not going to have great days every day or even great weeks. But with that success partner and with the app and with the program, it gets you back focused on your goals instead of waiting for some arbitrary date in the future.
That's amazing. I love success partner. It sounds so much better than accountability partner. I mean, you've got that's a reminder every day you connect with that person. It is all about success and it's all positive spin. I love that. And also you mentioned the power of ritual, the daily practice, which I believe is so important for all sorts of growth, personal, spiritual, physical. So obviously you are preaching the same message here, how important it is to have a kind of ritual, a daily practice, which presumably is again set up around certain goals. That's my understanding. Is correct here?
Yeah, so our morning ritual starts off like we start every day with gratitude. We have an attitude of gratitude. We're grateful for what we have. We're not complacent or satisfied with what we have, but we're grateful in it, because what we found out is if you're not grateful for what you have, chances are you're not going to be grateful for what you end up achieving, because in goals, we're always striving to have more, do more, and be more. But we want you to realize that, your life is good. Be grateful for what you have, and chances are you're going to have more. So we start that. And then we start with success principles that we teach, and philosophies and strategies in the I Got Smarter. So the app will walk you through that. And then the app walks you through reviewing your goals. And then every single one of our goals, every day you add in your task that you need to do associated with that goal. If you have a success partner in the app, it's showing you what your success partner is doing, and then what are you going to do to help your success partner every single day. Because once you realize that you're in this together with somebody else and somebody else is watching, that's when we really up the speed. I mean, think about the last time you played any kind of sport. As soon as you started to keep score, you up the ante a little bit. So we do that. And then we have a habit that goes along every single month. We're trying to form a new habit. So we're doing that as well. And by the time you're done with your morning ritual, your entire day is automatically planned for you through the app. And now all you have to do is sit down and start checking the things off that you need to do. And this morning ritual takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes at the most. And that 5 or 10 minutes is the best time you're going to spend all day, because now you know exactly what has to happen to achieve your goals. And you end up having so much more free time because you're really working on the things that are going to move your life forward in the direction that you want to go, instead of just being reactive and not really attacking the day with a plan and just going through the motions. This way you're laser focused on your goals and what really matters.
Absolutely. I mean, this whole interview so far could be a mini guide to how to do it. Of course, there is so much more to add to it, and people can learn and tap into that program. It's good news you've created the app, so it can be done from any place in the world through a digital platform. Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the way we are going. I think the lockdown situations like we have here in London, and the whole pandemic challenges certainly put us on a digital platform much more. Yeah. And I don't think we'll be changing after ever again. That's for a different conversation. I'm just so grateful you came and shared your story, your advice, and a little about what you are doing. And I just wonder if you wanted to add anything to our conversation.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, my one piece of advice to people is, if you're listening and you're motivated and you were inspired, don't wait to take action. Like, do it now. Start where you're at and do it now. So many people out there want to wait until all the traffic lights are green before they start on their success journey. Don't wait, because you'll get sidetracked. You'll forget about it. The inspiration, the motivation will go away. So start where you're at and start now.
Yes, the time is now. Absolutely, gosh, and we hear that so it's quite a popular phrase, but you've just emphasized how important it is. So thank you so much, Nelson. So grateful. We'll have this video on the replay, and we'll add your contact details in the comments so people can reach out and get the book, which I haven't yet, but I'm preparing myself to have time to read it. But the most important, thank you for sharing your story and your wisdom. So you've been the most gracious guest. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Bye for now.